Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you for all that are joining us. We are so happy that you are here with us today. We would love for you to share in the chat box as you're joining where your location is, like where you're joining from, what role you're in, and maybe school district. We'd love for you to do that in the chat box. There should be a little circular dialog bubble at the bottom of your screen. You can open that and just make sure you click on the Everyone tab. So it's going to the whole group, and we'll go ahead and get started. We love that you're here. Just to let you know that we are recording our PLC session for today, so that you're aware of that. But again, welcome to our Purple Star Campus Support Professional Learning Community and our first session, which is Purple Star Campus Designation, What's Next? Our professional learning communities, or you'll hear us refer to them as PLCs, are really a great way for educators and school professionals to collaborate with and tap into a network of peers and partners in support of military connected students. This PLC is designed, again, for school professionals and educators across campuses in Texas that are implementing or working towards that Purple Star campus designation. Our knowledge sharing model brings together a network of learners, including subject matter experts and peers from multiple focus areas, really for a robust and holistic approach. We love that aspect to the PLCs. You'll have the opportunity to identify potential solutions to common challenges related to Purple Star campus programs. So again, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Please feel free to share your name, your location, where you're joining from, maybe your role, and your school district in the chat box. We'd love to see that. Next slide, please. So, my name is Nikki Harrison. I am with the Military Child Education Coalition, or you will commonly hear us referred to as MSEC. And our mission really is to support all military connected children by educating, advocating, and collaborating to resolve those education challenges that are associated with the military lifestyle. Our vision is that we would love for every military connected child to be college, work, and life ready. MSEC values the importance of professionals possessing the knowledge necessary to identify and respond to those complex needs of military connected children. There's a lot of great ways to stay involved and informed about our upcoming webinars, workshops, and additional resources. And you can email us at info@militarychild.org. Again, I'm Nikki Harrison. I'm a project manager in education services with MSEC, and my colleague Marie, I'll have her introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marie McGarry, and I am an educator for MSEC and really happy to be with all of you today. As a former elementary classroom teacher, I'm always excited when I get to be with educators and present and talk with them. So happy to be with all of you today.
Thank you so much, Marie. And we have a couple of other colleagues joining us from MSEC. We have Michelle Brashear, who is our another educator in Ed Services. She'll be helping in the chat box and all those tech aspects today. And we also have Terry Whitten, who is our military student consultant and just a fantastic resource at MSEC and has the answers to so many questions, Purple Star campus related. And we are joined by our TA counterpart, Dr. Ann Lay. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you so much. We here at TEA are so honored and appreciative of the collaboration we have with MSEC. And just to introduce you, our team, our military work is within our HMER program, and it's led by our fearless leader, Kelly, who wasn't able to make it today. She is our director. I serve as the manager of our HMER program and the point of contact for military work and Purple Star work, and also the state coordinator coordinator for our State Advisory Council with MIC3. And then my program specialist is Mr. John Dobbins. Every now and then you will see his face in our PLCs and our PD opportunities, but he's unable to join us today. So welcome and thank you so much for being here. And we hope you have a wonderful time during our first PLC for the 25-26 school year.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Dr. Lay. We appreciate that so much. And so let's talk a little bit about the collaboration and partnership that MSEC is so honored to have. On our next slide, we really have cultivated a really strong collaborative partnership with the Texas Education Agency, or TEA. We are really excited about all of the work that we've been able to do together and are proud to offer this 5-part professional learning community series that includes professional development and office hours, fall 2025 through spring of 2026. So we still have a few other sessions together. This collaborative effort really underscores the commitment to nurturing a positive educational experience for our military families and acknowledges that really vital role that schools play in facilitating a successful integration of our military connected students into their academic communities, as well into just in general their local communities. So honored and excited for the collaboration and partnership. So a little bit about our professional learning community series. We were able to do a 3-part series this past spring, and that was really focused on campuses that had already received that Purple Star Campus designation. But with this new year and our new professional learning community series, we're back and we're offering this professional development and office hours for campuses who are either implementing that Purple Star Campus designation or you're working towards it. So our goal really is to provide coaching, support, and strengthened guidance. And so in these PLCs, as you continue on with us throughout the next sessions, we want it to be very collaborative. We want you to feel comfortable asking questions.
And that's what you're going to be using. Again,
really want it to be just a really great experience for you all. And you will have an opportunity at some point to chat with one another in our breakout sessions. So our learning objectives for today, for this first session, is to understand the requirements of the Purple Star Campus designation, discuss the benefits of a Purple Star Campus program, and really examine that Purple Star Campus implementation and recommendations for what we kind of consider best practices or exemplary practices. I'm going to hand it over to Marie.
Great. Thanks, Nikki. So let's start by talking about our goal for today. The Military Child Education Coalition, MSEC, is the national advocate for Purple Star Schools, a program that supports military-connected children as they experience school transitions. The Purple Star School program is designed to help schools respond to the educational and social and emotional challenges military-connected children face during their transitions to a new school, and it helps to keep them on track to be college, workforce, and life ready. Military connected children refers to children of service members on active duty in the National Guard and Reserves, as well as veterans. During our first session, participants will understand all the components needed for a Purple Star campus designation in support of military connected students. So let's chat a little bit. We want to hear from you. So we have our first question, and we would love for you to put your answers in the chat box. So the first question is, have you had any experience working with military connected students and families? So you can respond to that if you're new, if you have been working with families. So we'll kind of get a gauge on our experience level. So this year we have some definite yeses. We have not in this capacity. New to the district, so bringing some expertise from their old campus to their new campus. Lots of yeses. School counselor had an experience. Someone said their campus is 99% military, so lots of experience there. Terrific. Yes, they are very resilient. Oh, love it. Third year working toward Purple Star capacity criteria, not for schools, but outside experience. Terrific. So it looks like we have kind of a range of experiences here, which I think is fantastic. So it lets us, those of us that may be new to working with military connected students, learn some ideas or get some ideas. And those of you that are veterans working with military connected students, you can share things that have worked for you in the past. So I love that when we're able to have that dialogue and that opportunity to share with one another. So, what are some things that you have learned about the military lifestyle? Very diverse, flexible, resilient. I've seen some of those words. Other thoughts that you have working with military connected students and families? So, I'll give you a minute to respond. Mobile, yes, that's for sure. Friendly, love that. Respectful, adaptable, well-traveled, that's for sure. Adaptable by necessity, resilient, looking to make connections in the community. I love that. That is fantastic. Wonderful. Thank you. Feel free to continue to add those in the chat box. We really appreciate you sharing. Thank you so much. So we want to share with you a video that discusses how important it is to support military families.
Supporting military families means creating a network of resources that addresses their specific needs and provides a strong sense of community. With access to educational support programs and resources, military families can better navigate multiple transitions.
You're only as successful as your team is. So when your team, when your coworkers understand the unique needs of our military families, you're able to understand the concerns, the fears, the anxieties that come along with of having to support a military family.
I've moved 7 times and attended 9 different schools, and those have been in different countries, all different states, and it's been a crazy experience.
Yeah, I think our best practice in supporting our military families is our very well recognized student-to-student program, again with the partnership of the Military Child Education Coalition. Understanding that our military families need differentiated support is extremely vital. And what I love about our program is not only is it about our teachers, but it's about our students and helping them understand the unique needs of our students who transfer in from military families, and to make certain that they feel a part of that new family immediately, as well as helping connect that family into their new community as well.
My advice for someone after a transition would be to reach out. You get the best experience, and it's what you make out of, your certain situation, and that's just adversity. You get what you put into it. And so I would say to reach out, join different clubs, join different communities, don't be shy, get out of your shell. And there's so much opportunity in every location, but it's what you make out of it. So.
Supporting military families and their children is essential to meeting their unique needs. Providing educational support and resources helps them maintain academic stability, adapt to new environments, and not just survive after a transition, but really thrive.
I love that video. It's great with a great voiceover. Thanks, Nikki, on that. One phrase that really stood out for me as a military family member is that idea of differentiated support, and that idea that not one size fits all, and that teamwork between educators and students in military families. But we would love for you to share some of the phrases that you heard in that video and on how to best support support military families. So we'd love for you to put those in the chat box as well. And as you're doing it, we know that as educators, that with knowledge comes understanding. And so we wanted to share some facts, about military connected children and youth to enhance that knowledge and understanding. So Jackson, our student in the video, he is very much an example of the fact that that average military connected child is going to change schools between 6 and 9 times before graduation. I think he had said he'd moved 7 different times. So that amount of moving is 3 times more often than their civilian peer group. And every transition or PCS, that permanent change of station, is different. But the one constant is that the child has to leave everything behind and adapt to that new surroundings. They have to say goodbye to friends. They have to establish new connections. And once again, they have to figure out how they can fit in. Which we know for kids is really important. Adults too, really. Some additional challenges that our military families face. Each military family is unique in how they respond, but all military families are going to experience transitions. And the impacts on those transitions are going to impact students both academically and social and emotionally as well. Multiple PCS. And when I'm talking about PCS, we love our military acronyms. I'm talking about a permanent change of station. So that is what we talk about in the military when a family has orders to move from one duty station or location to another. Those are not the only moves that happen within military families. Often military families will experience moves, we call it geo-batching, when the service member moves to maybe attend a school or a training, and the family stays where they have been. Oftentimes it is to allow maybe a student to graduate from that same high school that they've been attending so that they don't have to move. School separations, oftentimes so the service member will be away for an extended period of time for school or for a particular tasking that they have to do. We often think about separations in terms of deployments, and oftentimes those deployments not only involves the separation and being away from that family member, but also that the concerns that that child or young adult is going to have about that service member being in less than ideal conditions. The unpredictability is another challenge our military families face. Oftentimes those moves or assignments can come up without a lot of warning, and sometimes they do have a great deal of time to consider that move, and there is benefits and negatives to both of those. I think the shortest time that my family knew about a deployment was a month, and the longest time was a year. And so there were challenges for both of those, for both myself and for my children. And that also can impact children different ages and stages of development as well. Each military family is going to be unique. A lot of military families, some military families have both parents involved in the military. So sometimes there can be both parents are experiencing a deployment or a separation. Families, another challenge on top of the transition is perhaps that family is undergoing a separation or a divorce. Perhaps it's a multi-generation or a blended family that is experiencing these transitions. Or you have family members that have medical or academic challenges. So all of those can impact those military families and their unique experience to transitions. That idea of that differentiated support is really important. Nikki?
Thanks, Marie. So we've talked a little bit about some of those facts of military connected children and the lifestyle, some of those challenges we've highlighted, which some of you may have been aware of if you've been working with military connected students and families for some time, but all pieces to why our military connected families have a very unique lifestyle, very unique challenges, and the support system really has to look a little bit different for them than maybe some of our other students. So we're going to go into another Let's Chat. We love engagement, and so we'd love for you to share in the chat box, why is the Purple Star Campus designation important? If you're here with us today and you're a school or campus that has already been awarded the designation, please share with us. If you're working towards it, you could maybe share with why you think it's important. Why does your campus or your administrators believe it's important? We just love for you to share in the chat box. So I hear resources that someone put in there. So yeah, it's important for those resources. Let military connected families know they can get help and assistance they need. We want to show that we're committed. We're going the extra mile to help them, make them feel welcome. Absolutely. Help parents make selections in new locations. I love that. I will tell you, as both Maria and I, military spouses, Michelle as well, one of the first things that we do when we find out we have new orders somewhere is I look at schools. If you have school age children, a school may, at least for our family, dictate where we reside, okay, based off of a school search. So I love that someone put that. Inclusivity, letting them know they belong, every child feels welcome. Yes, these are all fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. Please continue to share in the chat box. I love that. Thanks so much. A name, number, email, face, expert, and a local PLC. I think that's great. It's short and sweet and to the point. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that Purple Star Campus designation and just kind of an overview of what that looks like. The Purple Star Campus designation recognizes Texas school districts and open enrollment charter school campuses that show their support and commitment to meeting those unique needs of military connected students and families. Any Texas school can become a Purple Star campus, regardless of size of its military connected student population. And I want to highlight that for just a moment because we know that there are some campuses, maybe you're close to a military installation. So you may have a high number of military connected students and families in your area. But we know our military connected students are in rural areas within the state of Texas. You may have veteran families, retiree families that are in your local community. Those kids are military connected students. And so whether you have 2 or 200, the Purple Star Campus designation is really important. And we'll talk a little bit about why a little bit later as well. Districts are encouraged to support campuses and help them meet that criteria for that Purple Star Campus designation. So we know there's an application process and a criteria, and we're going to talk a little bit about that next. And we're sharing in the chat box some links for you all to the Texas education codes and just general information about the Purple Star Campus designation as well. So you can have those. So let's talk a little bit about how this looks in Texas, but we don't want to not discuss the CPEARL report. We would really be remiss if we didn't talk about the Center for Public Research and Leadership report in 2022 that talked about Purple Star school programs and kind of outlines the components of what that designation looks like. So it's a great report. I think we can share the link to that a little bit later if you'd like to review that. But according to the Texas Education Code 33.909, a campus may qualify for the Purple Star Campus designation if it demonstrates certain required supports and resources for that military connected student population. So by taking these actions, states can drive continuous support and facilitate that collaboration, those resources that someone highlighted a little bit earlier, gathering data for evaluation, and really prioritize family engagement, all of which contribute to the effectiveness, the support, and success of our military connected students and families within that Purple Star Campus designation. So on the screen, you'll see listed, there's really 4 major requirements, components, criteria. That first one, campus-based military liaison. A campus must designate an assigned staff member as a military liaison. I know for some of you on here, that may be you. You may be sitting here and saying you've been tapped to do that, and you may be the school counselor, you may be a teacher, maybe you're an administrator, maybe you're a parent engagement liaison and the campus-based military liaison. So at least if you're here and you're in that role, we hope you gain a lot of insight and information from that today. That campus webpage for military families to create and maintain an easily accessible webpage that includes information for military connected students and their families. I'm going to stop a moment and I really want to highlight this component and this criteria. It is one of the most important pieces. Military families, we're all over the world. We're all over the US, we're all over the world. And one of the first places that we have to access information is using the internet. And going to a campus webpage. Okay, so it is so important for it to be updated, to have accurate information on it, for it to be easily accessible, for it to not have the student handbook from 5 years ago, okay, on there. We need current student handbooks if you have one. And so it really is important. And the high time that a lot of military families will start looking at these web pages is early to late spring throughout the summer. Okay. Summer becomes a really important time where they're looking at that. So keep that in mind. Web page is really important. Campus Transition Program, a program that provides support to military connected students through that campus-based military liaison and peer-to-peer mentoring program. A student ambassador program, something that, students are welcoming those military connected kids that are new to that campus in. And lastly, but not least, is military initiatives. A campus must offer a resolution showing support for military connected students and families. Participation in that month of the military child. I'm gonna impromptu ask you all to share in the chat box. Does anyone know what month military child is? Month of the military child. What month in the year is that? April. Yes. You get a purple star. That's wonderful. Yes, April is month of the military child. We also have Military Family Appreciation Month and Veteran Family Appreciation Month that happens in November, or a partnership with a school liaison that's local military installation liaison to encourage and provide opportunities for active duty military members to engage with the local schools. And so you may have that in some of your areas. So let's talk about benefits of Purple Star Campus. I see in the chat box, someone did know November is the Military Family Appreciation Month. That's fantastic. Thank you. So some of the benefits of the Purple Star Campus somebody put adopt a unit. Yes. Or here locally where I am at, they call it the PI program, the Partners in Education program, where you can have a unit that is assigned to your campus that can assist. So yes, if you have access to some of those programs, they're fantastic. So thank you for sharing. So benefits of Purple Star Campus. What does the research say? And these findings, again, go back to that CPEARL Purple Star research report. The Purple Star Campus program's true value derives from its potential to centralize and make knowledge accessible. That's so important. We talked about the web page. We talked about having accessibility within your campus. That registrar is going to become a really important person, or the data clerk, or the administrative assistant that's in the office that kind of is the key to all things at your campus. That's really important to have. Developing that stakeholder networks. This is working with local community organizations, working with a military installation if you're near one. Really bringing people in, working with those military connected parents. If you have PTOs and PTAs, I will tell you, I feel like a military spouse makes the best volunteer. I feel like I've built a life doing it. And so bringing them in and making them part of that stakeholder network is really important. And then that support schools have in cultivating and communicating cultural competency and supporting the families. And so letting them know about your local area and what there is to offer. You may have military families that have they may be moving from, we did an overseas tour where we moved from Japan back to the stateside. And I always say we felt like we went in reverse culture shock because we were used to living a certain way and we had to come back and our kids had to learn how to live a different way. So things like that are really important and benefits of that Purple Star campus. And I want to highlight a little bit earlier, someone saying really that location bringing students in. I think one of the best benefits is, having those military connected families choose your campus as the place where they would like to send their students, their children, because they feel like that is the best supportive environment for them. And I think that says a lot about your campus if they're chosen for that.
Nikki,
Uh,
I'm sorry
yeah,
to bother you.
yeah,
Someone has a
no.
question in the chat box that I'm unable to answer. I was hoping
Okay.
you could. Would a school that's opening up in August of 2026 be able to apply for the Purple Star designation in the spring of 2026? So before.
So I provided a response in there. This is
Thank
Dr.
you.
Lay from TEA. Yes. So if for the 26-27 Purple Star application, schools are asked to submit evidence and details of what the campus did during the 25-26 school year. So if your campus is opening up August 2026, what they will need to do is document their completion of the 4 Purple Star criteria during the 26-27 school year and apply for spring 2027.
Thank you, Dr. Lay. That was a great answer. I'm glad you had the answer. Yeah. So basically, they would have to wait a year to apply for the designation for that next year. Okay. Great. Thank you so much. Thanks. We appreciate you asking that question and keep them coming. I'm going to turn it over to Marie, and Marie's going to talk a little bit about our problem of practice and that collaboration piece that we want you all to have today.
Yes, this I think is going to be an exciting part of our time together, our work together today. So this is a real case presentation and an opportunity for joint problem solving in our community practice. So we'll give you all an opportunity to discuss and deepen your understanding of the situation. Then we are going to ask you to share your reflections or recommendations to the problem of practice, and we'll do this in those breakout rooms. So we'll have an opportunity for a smaller group discussion. And then at the end of the session, we'll come back together and we will hear recommendations from the group. So let me give you a little bit of background on the case study. The Dexter School recently earned its Purple Star Campus designation, with approximately 15% of the students identified as military connected. The campus leadership recognizes the importance of sustaining and expanding its support. So the Dexter School wants to expand its recognition of military families and students, and then engage military families and students more at their campus. So therefore, the leadership team is exploring the idea of forming a military family support committee. The goals of this committee would be to plan and oversee events or recognitions that honor military connected students and families, to create opportunities for military parents and guardians to participate in that school community, and then to ensure a continuity of effort so that the Purple Star work is shared, visible, and sustainable. Some of the challenges that they have identified is how can they sustain that engagement we might be difficult to recruit and retain busy military parents. Another challenge is avoiding an overload on staff. So staff members may already feel stretched thin with their existing responsibilities, and it might make it hard for someone or several people to commit their time to that committee work. And then finally, wanting to ensure meaningful recognition. So there's a risk that the recognition could become a routine, sort of check the box event, rather than something that is authentic and impactful, an impactful experience for those military connected students and families. So those are some of the challenges. Those are some of the concerns of this particular group. So some of the questions that we are going to look at in that small group are: what are effective ways at your campus to recruit military connected parents or guardians to participate in the committee? And don't worry, I'm going through these quickly, but we'll have a chance to revisit them in the small group. How can the committee create opportunities for students on and at your campus to take part in recognition or leadership roles? What type of recognition or activities could the committee organize at your campus beyond some of those traditional events? So maybe consider involving local military or community organizations. And then finally, what challenges might arise in maintaining an active and engaged committee, and how can they be addressed? So those are some of the questions that we're going to explore. And perhaps this is a real life challenge that you have faced at your campus already. So we look forward to hearing from all of you in our small groups. So I think now we are going to move into those small groups. So you will see an invitation to join a breakout room. So you just click on that, and we'll see you again shortly.
Thank you for coming back in. I think we'd love for if you were able to have a great discussion in your rooms. We hope you were. We'd love for someone to share about the questions. So I think for room one, I think it was Terry's group. And the first question: what are some effective ways at your campus to recruit military connected parents or guardians to participate on a committee? Feel free to share in the chat box if you'd like, if that'd be easier.
I have
So,
audio now, ma'am. I was the one who was saying that we use talking points.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I create groups like for all of our grade levels, and I usually send out mass messages, especially if we get any kind of like resources of free things. But we're able to ask all, we have over like 150 probably students that are military connected. So it's kind of easy for us to get different, volunteers for different things. And it might not always be the same people. So it's hard to keep like an actual group, but we usually get volunteers for different things. So we are still able to build things or like build off of that. And we kind of just roll with that because keeping that same group for a whole year usually doesn't work out for us.
Okay, great. I love that. That's a great suggestion. I see someone in the chat box put open lunch for parents to join their student. Maybe that's a great way to kind of recruit them, to bring them in to the campus. Anyone, if any group wants to talk about what types of recognitions or activities that you have that you can share, maybe
We,
things that are kind of beyond those traditional events.
well, we discussed in our group, like a having like student ambassadors, basically other military connected students, because it was mentioned that kids tend to, listen to their peers more than they listen to the adults, and it'd be easier for them to connect. And another member brought up a really great idea. She mentioned that they're having their homecoming soon, and they're doing a float for military connected families to, show that, they do exist in their community, and, basically putting them out to the forefront for everyone to see and acknowledge them. And I thought that was pretty cool.
I love that. Homecoming is next week here for our high school where my son goes, and that's a great idea. A float. I wish I had that idea. So yeah, I mean, great event activity outside of the traditional events to bring your families in. I love that. I think that's an amazing idea. Any challenges that you've had? If some of you maybe have a committee, are working towards forming a committee, what challenges might arise in really maintaining an active and engaged one? And you can feel free to share in the chat box, or if someone wants to come off mute and share, we'd love that too. I know
Nikki,
some. Oh, go ahead, please. Yes.
Nikki, we didn't get to discuss this in my group, but I would think one of the main challenges that a school would have in maintaining an active and engaged committee is the fact that those parents, just like those students, are highly mobile, and there's going to be a constant turnover. And so it's almost like this process of recruiting your military parents is an ongoing, all the time thing.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I was going to say, someone in our group shared that they have difficulty. Parents in general across the board are, working parents, parents that are tasked with so many different things. And it's just a challenge all around, but making it easily accessible for them can be really helpful. And I love the idea of a lunch, bringing them in for lunch. I think that's a great idea. So, well, thank you all for, being able to share in the collaboration, for sharing in the chat box as well. I hope the discussion was great in your groups. As we continue along in the PLC series and have these different sessions, we want to make sure that we have time for you to collaborate and just be really intentional with that time, that you are together, because I think that's best when you can kind of share and see what others are doing. So some of our Purple Star Campus program recommendations. So we said we wanted to kind of talk about those recommendations, those best practices. And so using that application process to drive continuous program improvement is important. I know this past year, the application process changed and it looked different for the Purple Star Campus designation. And so really utilizing that as a guide can be very helpful. Collaborating, connecting with those other schools and districts to facilitate those ideas for sharing and that program improvement. Again, what we're trying to create here with this PLC series. Supporting the development of a repository of schools and districts training materials. I know someone mentioned resources being so helpful for them, and having that, maybe a continuity binder. The military, we love a continuity binder or folder, something for those that are in this role as the years go by is helpful. Providing quarterly guidance for that dedicated campus military family webpage. I think that's great if you can update your webpage on a quarterly basis. I know it's different. Every campus and district kind of operates differently, but I think that's really helpful if you can kind of keep up on that web page and make sure it's updated as possible. Some other recommendations, reviewing and analyzing those academic and social emotional data regarding military connected students. I know in our group, someone was talking about PEMS reports, data reports, being able to know how to identify who those military connected students is really important. It's a first step. Engaging families and that Purple Star Campus program planning, reviewing those available tools in an annual timeline or calendar, and also reviewing the new Purple Star Rise TEA Learn course. If you haven't been able to take that yet, I think it's a really comprehensive course that kind of breaks down each pieces of the Purple Star Campus designation and program. So again, really some really great recommendations. So we want to kind of wrap up with some resources and tools that we hope will be really helpful for you all. And the first one is our FAQ and annual timelines. These are some resources that were developed last year. I think they're really fantastic. On that next slide, Michelle, the resources are fantastic. We'll put the links into the chat box for some frequently asked questions that you may be thinking about and needing answers to. There's a fantastic annual calendar and timeline recommendation PDF that goes kind of month by month and lets you know kind of this is what you should be working on at this time. This is what you can be planning for as the year goes on. Some additional resources are a key terms and policy documents that we'll show a snapshot of on the next slide. Again, great resources with a lot of information to kind of hopefully help support you in that implementation of your Purple Star Campus program or working towards that designation. We also have the Purple Star Campus application rubric. That's also a great resource. Again, we're putting all these links in your chat box as well. This is a fantastic document that helps kind of review the criteria for each designation category. You can evaluate those campus activities, understand that documentation, and just guide you. My oldest is in college, and I tell him all the time, if your professor gives you a grading rubric, you follow it to the T. Because that is your key to success. And that's the same for this application rubric. And I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Lay, and she's going to talk about some other really great resources.
Okay, thank you so much. The Purple Star, we recently announced our 25-26 Purple Star Awards. So for the 25-26 cycle, TEA received 306 Purple Star applications. Of those, 98 campuses earned the 2-year designation. 40 of those were first-time recipients and 58 were renewals. On September 4th, the governor did release a press release, and TEA released a TAA, or to the administrator addressed. It's always a tongue twister, congratulating the new designated campuses. So what I want to say is if you applied but you were not awarded, we do encourage you to view the available resources that Nikki just shared with you, but additional resources that we do have on our webpage. Everything that you need to know about Purple Star is on that webpage. And how to apply, when the applications and all that is going to be updated as we have that finalized. But at the bottom of our Purple Star page, we have what's called an accordion resource, so you can open it up. There you have the Purple Star resources, where it's general Purple Star resources, there's application resource support, and then there's Purple Star criteria support. I want to note that of the 4 criterias, the most difficult to meet is criteria 2, and a lot of our applicants did not meet the criteria because they submitted a district military webpage and not a campus military webpage. So just really highlighting that, yes, if you were awarded before, does not necessarily mean that you are going to be awarded again if you followed the same steps you did before, because we have enhanced our process. We have strengthened the integrity to uphold the integrity of Purple Star as it was written in statute. So we really do encourage you to attend the latest interest meeting so that you have all that information, the updated information. And we do have exemplars to where we walk you through each question of the Purple Star application. And so you know exactly what it is that we're looking for as they align to our rubric. So if you plan on applying for the 26-27 Purple Star, we have a robust library of resources that will support you. And of course, please email us at the Military Connected TEA inbox. We reply very quickly. We're very supportive of all campuses who are pursuing Purple Star or just need general technical assistance with how to serve military connected students. On the next slide, the training that we mentioned, there's a box at the top that didn't show up. If you click on it one more time, will it show up? Oh, there it is. Okay. Sorry. 2526 Military Connected Students Program Events one pager. This is a new resource that we have for you. It is a comprehensive, all inclusive, all the Purple Star or military related training PD, PLCs that we have to offer, including office hours for this school year. So there's a picture on the right side. It walks you through the fall semester and the spring semester, and you'll have your registration links there. Of note for Purple Star, our spring Purple Star interest meeting is scheduled for March 4th. The registration link is on both this deck and also on the resource. The meeting will be 1 to 2:30 p.m. and we will walk you through the most recent application. New to this year, the application will be opened for 4 weeks in the month of May. And so just plan for the month of May being the month to where you are applying for Purple Star. So please spend from now until April performing those events, those criterias, and collecting the evidence and compiling those so you have that ready. We have 2 office hours designated for Purple Star, one before the application opens, which is going to be April 15, and one during the application, May 20th. And we will be able to help support any questions. We encourage you to attend, and it's not going to be recorded so that you have the flexibility and the option to just ask your raw questions without, a fear of judgment or anything like that. We are here to support you. All right, Nikki, I would like to hand it back to you.
Great. I'm going to have Marie go over our next upcoming sessions.
Terrific. Thanks. Before I move on to that, I did have someone in my group that had a question about district level committees versus a military committee at a school. So that information can be found on that website, or would you recommend that they stay and ask it again in the chat box, Dr. Lay?
Yeah, I think I was confused about the question, the military service connected committee. Is that the
There's that one, and then there was another question if they could have a district level committee that was similar to that problem of practice, if they could have a district level committee or if it needed to be a campus-based one. So I think that question came up. So I promised that we'd circle back to it, but you gave us lots of sites in that they can refer back to for that information. So that's terrific.
Yes, and email me if you have any questions, and then we can explore the question a little bit more because I do have some questions. So please email, if you put that question into the chat, please email me at the Military Connected, and I'll drop the email address in there, and then I'll be able to explore specifically your question and answer to the best of my ability there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So our next session will be on October 22nd. Again, the same time, 2 to 3:30 p.m. And it will be identifying military connected students. And the information is there, that QR code. If you have already registered, you do not need to register again. You will just use that same Zoom link that is in there. If you have any questions about that, feel free to email us. You will need to register if you happen to be sharing a computer with somebody today, and you're sort of have come in on their registration. We would really encourage you to register on your own as well so that you can receive all of that information directly, and so you can get credit and we can capture the numbers of folks that are attending. The follow-on dates after October 22nd, we'll be meeting again on November 19th, developing a Purple Star Advisory Committee. We're going to take a little break in the month of December, and then we'll come back together in January 2026 to talk about activities and event planning. And then our last PLC will be on February 18th, where we will discuss preparing for redesignation. So we do want to take a couple of minutes as we wrap up today to consider the information that we shared in our meeting, and we would love for you to respond to the following 3-2-1 activity in the chat. So we'd love for you to share 3 insights that you've gained from today's session, 2 actions that you will take to assist your district and campus with your Purple Star school designation, and then 1 topic that you would like to learn more about at our next session. So we'll give you a few minutes to do that. And while you're doing that, Nikki is going to give you some information about the support Padlet.
Yes, real quickly, I want to just let you all know two things. We'll be on here until about 3:30 Central Standard Time. I'm in Mountain Time, so I always have to do a quick calculation for office hours. So if you have questions, just hang tight and we'll try to answer some of those. And also, if you are registered for this session today, you received an email, and in that email, it has all of the Zoom links. So you're registered for the entire series, Professional Learning Community series. So don't think that those links we're putting in the chat box, don't panic. You have all of that when you registered for this session today. It's just great if you want to pass that on to a colleague to register. You can do that. The Padlet, I really think this is going to be a great resource for us. I know there was already some collaboration in the chat box talking about emailing resources to each other or information. This is a great way that we're going to be able to do that as well and collaborate as a group. And you can scan that QR code. We're going to put the link in the chat box. We'll be using this Padlet throughout the entire PLC series just for like resources, information, if you find articles, anything that you're doing in your school, if you want to share templates or samples of a welcome or exit packet that you have, we'll be putting all of that in this Padlet. So before our next session in October, I'd love for you to just be able to access the Padlet, post a question that you have about implementing or working towards your Purple Star Campus designation. So just click in there, post it, and then we'll go back in our session in October and we're going to review the Padlet. And so that link is in your chat box and you can scan the QR code. We will also be sending a follow-up email to all of you after this session, and we will have some of these links that will be in there as well, like this Padlet link will be in there. So again, don't worry if we're going a little bit quickly here at the end. We wanted to talk about our Global Training Summit that's coming up next week, actually. And I don't want to focus in so much on the Atlanta one because most of us are probably pretty far from Atlanta. We're in Texas, but we have our Austin, Texas Regional Global Training Summit on Friday, September 26th. You can again scan the QR code or click the link that's in the chat box that I think will be there in a few minutes. Oh, it's already there. If you are able to attend, registration's still open. It's a one-day conference training summit, and you'll be able to get lots of different information from really speakers, educators, professionals working in this space that are our subject matter experts. And then lastly, we would just love for you to share your feedback on today's session. You can click the link, scan the QR code. I know so many QR codes. We're in the age of technology, right? And share your feedback on today's session. We will also share this link in that email that I'm talking about that you'll receive. And so don't feel free to, if you're not wanting to do that right now, you can do that when you receive that email as well. There's lots of questions in the chat box. And so I am going to we're going to stop the recording for the session today. For those that have joined, I don't know if